Yesterday's matinee was a long ball display, and Brian McCann was indeed the designated hitter.
That one is going to go. Unbelievable.
After a split north of the border, we bid Canada adieu, bringing Interleague back home and the Blue Jays for two. It's the Jays and the Braves, and it's next. Joe, this is Atlanta, right?
I think so.
We are indeed in Atlanta. It's great to be back home after a rough travel schedule in the season's first 2 months. We make our way toward the end of May with a long homestand, and it starts tonight with the Toronto Blue Jays in town for the first of two here at Turner Field. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe back with you. Braves are in first place after an awful travel schedule to start the season, but now a chance to make some hay at home where they've done that already this year.
Braves have the best record at home of any team in baseball, and now they get a chance to kind of add to it because they've played fewer games than anyone in baseball. As part of our Academy Sports and Outdoor Leaderboard, home sweet home indeed for Atlanta at 15-5. Best record in baseball by percentage of .750, winning 3 out of 4. And as you see there at the bottom, the fewest home games of anyone. But now a stretch of 8 games here at home where they can kind of catch up to everybody else in terms of games played.
And this series starts, or this homestand starts, with Chris Medlin, who has a losing record, but don't tell him that at home where he's been awfully good for the Braves.
He's been very good at Turner Field since he first came up. But he's been very good this year despite the fact that he can't pick up a win. But that's been kind of consistent with his work at home or the road. He's only won 1 ball game, and yet he's got an excellent ERA. Take a look at some of Chris's numbers. His last 11 starts at Turner Field, a 1.45 ERA and a sub-200 batting average. Even there, he probably should be maybe undefeated at home. And since the 2012 All-Star break, the best ERA in baseball. Let's hope tonight's the night that he gets off that 1-win mark and adds to it.
Esmil Rogers is the man pitching for Toronto. He's their 11th different starter this year. When we come back, Brian McCann back in the lineup. He was the Braves' DH yesterday, and Elizabeth Moreau will talk about his hot bat right after this.
Elizabeth Morrow. Monday night, Brian McCann 0 for 4. Yesterday, 2 for 5 with 2 home runs. We talked a little bit yesterday about his adjustment in the batter's box. When I talked to him today, he said that on Monday there were a few pitches that could be strikes that he thought were a little questionable. So he simply stepped up and in about a few inches. There was no film watch on that second home run. The game-winning home run. He got full extension of his swing. McCann making that adjustment, guys, and he hopes to continue it tonight. He is having an incredible season so far this year. Brian McCann yesterday, the 2 for 5 with those 2 home runs. Again, he says he continues those adjustments, and we hope to see more home runs out of him tonight. Guys?
Sounds like a great idea, Elizabeth. Brian McCann already with 6 home runs, 14 RBIs for the Braves, and closing in on a major milestone. We'll tell you about that as well as we get you set for the Braves and the Blue Jays. Lineups and first pitch coming up right after this. In part by AT&T Uverse, by Delta Airlines, by Ford, and by Blimpie. Man, oh man, it is great to be back in Atlanta. A chance to unpack the suitcase and get into a routine at home. Our first of a long homestand for the Braves with the Toronto Blue Jays first, Washington for 3, then the Pittsburgh Pirates, an 8-game homestand. Starting tonight for the first place Braves, who enter this evening's contest 11 games over 500 and a 4.5 game lead in the East. They will take aim at that man, Esmil Rogers. He pitches for Toronto, an injury-riddled club. He's the 11th different man to pitch in a starting assignment for Toronto this year.
It'll be interesting to see if they're able to bring that hot streak they're on offensively on the road. They play offensively, they play so well in the Rogers Center that I don't know if it'll play out on the road or not. They have 8 and 14 on the road.
And Toronto at 22 and 30, they're already 9.5 games off the pace in the East, and that was not what Alex Anthopoulos and the Blue Jays were expecting after the flurry of offseason moves they made.
And then yesterday to have Brandon Morrow come out after 2 innings with what was described as a tight forearm, that's never a good sign. He tried to pitch through it, hoping that his arm would loosen up in the early stages of that start against Atlanta. It didn't, so they may be on the verge of more problems with their starting pitching if that doesn't change.
So we're still waiting for the Braves to take the field on this warm, sunny night. And here's how Toronto lines up for their skipper, John Gibbons. The Blue Jays batting order brought to you by our friends at Toyota. Former Brave Melky Cabrera leads off. He's in left field. Then it's Jose Bautista. Edwin Encarnacion had a big start to this series up in Toronto. JP Arencibia is the catcher and their cleanup man. Then it's Colby Erasmus fifth. Meiser Izturis in for an injured Brett Laurie over at third. Emilio Bonifacio plays second. Munenori Kawasaki's the shortstop. And Esmil Rogers will indeed pitch and bat ninth.
Here are the numbers on Chris Medlen for the year. He makes his 11th start. 1-3 in April. The win came in Miami against the Marlins. No run support. May, 5 starts. No wins. A better ERA. Even less run support. He has the 3rd lowest run support in the National League. In fact, all of baseball at 2.6 runs per game, which pretty much leads us to the 4 keys to pitching success. Number 1 tonight, have a better mojo. You know, I think that's all he's been lacking. He's pitched well enough to have several wins under his belt. He only has the 1. His last time out against the Mets, 6 innings, 3 runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, got a no decision. And no Lind. Adam Lind is not in the lineup tonight, oddly enough. I mean, they don't have a DH, so it kind of cripples or cramps their style a little bit for the Blue Jays. That guy's the best hitter on the road that they have, average-wise, and he's not playing tonight, also a left-handed hitter.
So we'll certainly take that, as will Chris Medlen, for Game 3 of this series. And here's the rest of the Toronto, or I should say the Braves defensive lineup tonight. Upton, and Hayward left to right in the outfield. Francisco gets the start at third base. Andrelton Simmons, Dan Uggla, and Freddie Freeman. Brian McCann behind the plate. Joe mentioned it is a National League park, National League rules. That means the pitchers get to or have to hit, depending on your perspective. That means for the Braves, no Gaddis. For Toronto, no Adam Lind. See how it all works out. Melky Cabrera hearing it from his former home crowd and takes a called strike. "81 degrees in Atlanta at first pitch."
Long memories for these Atlanta fans after the show that Melky put on here last year when he came to town with the Giants, with a lot of gesturing to the fans in left field especially.
He's quickly behind 0-2 and takes off the plate from Chris Medlen. New lease on life for Cabrera north of the border after his suspension last year. The Jays swooped in, signed him up, and he's hitting .282 for them. I think we asked on the last homestand, did Melky Cabrera get a full World Series share? And the answer to that is yes, he did, as well as a World Championship ring for his part in the Giants' run last year. And that's pulled into the seats down the right field line. Cabrera still alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
A mistake on a changeup. Left it up, gave him a chance to rip it, but fortunately foul.
In the air to center field, and Melky Cabrera has a leadoff single. So after going 2 for 8 in Toronto, Cabrera aboard to start the Jays first. And here's Bautista. Joe, we saw the kind of damage this man did up in Toronto, but it appears he's a much different hitter away from the Rogers Center.
Yeah, another guy that scuffled away from their home park, only a .210 average overall. Half of his homers, though, have been hit on the road.
And Medlen jumps ahead with a called strike. A 170-point difference in batting averages. Home and road for Bautista.
First appearance ever for Chris against the Blue Jays. The only guy that he's faced a few times is Bonifacio. Emilio is with the Marlins, and he's 0 for 7 against Chris.
Bautista had a big day in Toronto yesterday, scoring 3 times. And he also provided the power for his 12th home run.
Yeah, it was on a breaking ball from Paul Maholm. A real slow breaking ball.
Swing and a miss. Medlen strikes out Bautista. 1 on, 1 out.
There was a good changeup. Beauty. If he's got a bag full of those ready tonight, he's going to be in good shape.
9 strikeouts for Medlen last time out. He's got 1 tonight, and he'll face Edwin Encarnacion. He drove in 6 runs in the first 2 games north in Toronto.
He's already got 44 RBIs, and we're not through May yet.
Well, with all the injuries that Toronto has gone through, John Gibbons has not been a push-button manager. He really adjusted his lineup when he moved Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista, and Encarnacion into the top 3 spots in the batting order. The Blue Jays have led the major leagues in runs scored. And that trio's combined to hit over 360 for the Jays. The problem is many of their opponents are hitting about 380.
Yeah, that is the problem, but what a super advantage to have those guys at the top where they might put some runs on the board early, as they did yesterday. They were already down 3-0, but they got 4 in the bottom of the first.
So from the frying pan to the fire right away for Chris Medlen. And Encarnacion, a liner over third. That'll bounce into the seats, foul. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Both the Braves and Jays had much better travel yesterday. Rainy afternoon up in Toronto. Took us a little while to get out of Pearson International Airport. Both clubs got here around 8:30 last night. But a real weird home-home split of this 4-game set. Another bullet pulled foul, and the ball boy a terrific catch. In on the transfer, not charged with the error.
Better check his webbing. Oh, baby. That baby was hooking on him, too.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Baseball's RBI leaders: Miguel Cabrera first, Chris Davis of Baltimore second, Encarnacion third with 44. And Miguel Cabrera still on pace for an absurd number of RBIs. I think 190, 198, something like that for the Tigers. Runner goes, pitch popped up behind second. Long run Upton. Uggla can't get there. That's going to drop in safely, and the Jays have runners at first and third.
An 8-pitch at bat. And you know what? That's kind of what he did yesterday. Remember the ball that dropped between Uggla and Hayward? Wasn't that on Encarnacion, a pop-up down in the right field?
Yeah, that was a double.
Yeah.
Bounced off the turf. So a couple of blue pits in the series for Encarnacion, and now Arencibia bats. E2's had a big series. 4 hits, a homer, 3 RBIs. He loves to swing the bat, doesn't he?
He does indeed. He's probably got a lot of family and friends here after attending the University of Tennessee. But like Bautista, his home road split's not very good. He's only hitting $171 on the road.
Freeman at first. Fires wide of the second base bag, and a great play by Simmons to come up with that ball. A run's going to score for Toronto as Arencibia rolls out 3-6.
Speaking of yesterday, and a defensive lapse in the first inning yesterday, a couple of them. This is something you rarely see from Freddie, and that's an errant throw. He's got an excellent arm, but his bad throw to second base prevented any chance at a double play that would have gotten Medlin out of the inning.
So Cabrera scores for Toronto. They lead 1-0. And now Rasmus, a short hop rocket hit to Simmons, and he'll make the play to retire the side. He only had one choice, and that was to make the long throw, but make it he did. 1-0 Toronto. Braves coming up at home in the first. Toronto scores in the first inning. Here come the Braves, who are 15-5 at home. The Toyota starting lineup has Andrelton Simmons leading off at shortstop. Jason Hayward, Justin Upton back in the starting nine. Freeman, McCann, Uggla, Juan Francisco. B.J. Upton, who had a lot of sitting time on the road trip, is in the 8th spot. And, of course, Chris Medlin pitches and bats ninth.
Esmiel Rogers, 27 years old, 6'1", 190 out of the Dominican Republic, makes the start tonight, his first of the year. He was with Colorado, as you see, from 2009 to 12, had a very high ERA, which is not surprising, pitching for Colorado at Coors Field a lot. But then he went to the American League, went to Cleveland last year, and 22 games this year. His ERA much improved, so is his opponent's batting average. His 4 keys to success, we'll get to those after the first. Well, we'll get to it right now. Throws hard, can heat, guys in the upper 90s, but allows a lot of base runners. 30 hits, 8 walks in 25 innings so far this year. He always has to pitch with men on base, it seems like. Man, can he bring it.
At first glance, he reminds me a bit of Juan Cruz.
Yeah, wiry like that.
Two balls, no strikes for Simmons. And that finds the mark. It's 2-1. 8 hits for Andrelton on the road trip. His average climbing to 249 for the year.
Yeah, over 300 over his last 10 games.
Another fastball, full count. Into center field for Simmons. So both leadoff men start the game with hits. Andrelton starts off the Braves first.
Nice easy swing on a 94 fastball that had a lot of the plate. And as you can see, Andrelton didn't try to do too much with it. Important count to his favor, and it gets the team off to a good start here.
Still waiting for a burst from Jason Heyward. His average at $156 and 8 runs batted in. Arencibia, a nice stop. 1 ball, no strikes.
Like he was set up for a slider and got the fastball. Esmil Rogers pretty much fastball slider.
Out of play, foul by Heyward. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned Rogers has pitched in relief for Toronto. How long do you think he'll be able to go tonight?
I bet if they get 5 innings out of him, they'll be very happy.
There's the slider. Caught the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And it was at 88.
Just foul past third. Easier play down the line for the ball boy that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Beautiful night. Some fans still filing in.
Short lead at first for Andrelton. 1-2 pitch coming for Jason. He's still alive. That's bounced up the middle. And Heyward's doubled up by Emilio Bonifacio. Base is empty, 2 outs, and Justin Upton the batter.
Braves have seen Rogers before. Several guys in the lineup have faced him quite a bit, including Justin, who saw him when Justin was playing in the American League West. But Rogers' numbers against Atlanta, awful. 3 innings, 11 hits, 12 runs.
So it seems at first glance an odd choice to pitch him against the Braves, knowing that head-to-head history. But it's not like Toronto has many options. They are 2 starting pitchers away from their franchise record number used in a single year. Twice before they've used 13 starters. Josh Johnson's been hurt, although he's close to coming back for them. R.A. Dickey, the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner, has struggled with Toronto. Jay Happ, as you know, hit by a line drive. He's out. And so is Justin Upton, who strikes out to end the Braves first. 1-0 Toronto. We go to inning number 2. Lighten up, Francis. Don't worry, the Braves get to hit again. It's only a 1-0 game. And Delta Airlines is a proud sponsor of the Atlanta Braves. Here's Meiser as tourist, then Emilio Bonifacio, and then Kawasaki for Toronto against Chris Medlin. A little more tough luck for Chris. A bloop hit led to that first Toronto run. .214 average, 3 homers, 6 RBIs for his tourists. This guy was a real good player with the Angels. And Francisco makes a nice stab to his left and throws him out. Anyway, Juan, good play. 1 out.
Playing into in case he tried to bunt. Quick reactions. Nice play.
Here's Bonifacio. Joe mentioned his head-to-head history with Chris Medlin. Of course, Emilio used to be with the Marlins. Then again, half the Toronto team used to be with the Marlins, it seems. With Johnson, Burley, and Bonifacio. 1 ball, no strikes. Medlin got a piece of that, but has no play. Bonifacio will reach. And that one got a big piece of the Braves pitcher. Let's see if he's all right. He is walking gingerly.
The inside back of his left knee. Boy, that was on the fly too, wasn't it? That was pretty solid.
Chris will climb to the top of the mound, take a few warm-up tosses. Frankly, if it weren't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any. One pitch is all Chris says he needs to stay in the game.
We'll keep a close eye on that because that was a hard hit ball. Hit him solid and on the knee. That could be something that restricts his movement pretty quickly.
Here's Munenori Kawasaki, quickly a fan favorite in Toronto. He's fielded nicely for Reyes. Medlin almost paid back Bonifacio with a pickoff. One ball, no strikes for Kawasaki. Another close play at first.
Bonifacio has one of those oven mittens too that keeps his hand protected when he slides.
He's running. The pitch, a ball. The throw to second is backed up by Dan Uggla. Not one of Brian's better efforts. And Bonifacio steals second. He'll stand there with one out.
Funny throws so far. One from Freeman and now this one. I don't think Brian had a hold of that baseball when he took it out of the glove. It was like he had it right at the end of his fingers.
3-0 count for Kawasaki. And Medlin walks him. So after getting hit with that batted ball, Medlin misses with 4 straight. 2 are on with 1 out. And Esmil Rogers the hitter. This big advantage, I think, for the National League teams, obviously, in interleague play. Pitchers aren't used to hitting. Rogers bunts. That's going to roll foul. Not only that, as you mentioned, you don't get to use your DH. In this case, Adam Lind.
Yeah, not having Lind in there is a little bit of a surprise to me, but you know, I don't know how he would be able to, John Gibbon would be able to manipulate his lineup and not take somebody out that's been swinging the bat pretty well. So tonight, Lind sits.
Same is true for the Braves with Brian McCann starting and Justin Upton back in left. Evan Gattis awaits a chance off the bench. There's the bunt. Medlin waits for Uggla to get to first. He does. Runners move up 90 feet on a successful sacrifice. Now the top of the order's up with 2 outs.
Nice job by Rogers in his first at bat of the year. Had a few at bats in his career when he was with Colorado.
Boos rain down on Melky Cabrera, who has 2 Jays in scoring position with 2 outs. Bonifacio and Kawasaki at third and second. Ball 1. Line drive left field. That's going to get down and score one for sure. Kawasaki rounds third. Throw to the plate is up the line. And then McCann drops the baseball in front of the plate. And Cabrera moves to second. 3-0 Toronto.
Fastball that had a little bit too much of the plate, and it was up that allowed Melky to get to it. If it's a little bit lower than that and it's down, then chance for a ground ball. 2 RBIs. So Cabrera turning those boos into production for the Blue Jays.
He's up to 20 ribbies. Now Bautista bats with 2 outs. 3 runs on 4 Toronto hits. And scoring 3 runs against Medlin, awfully tough to do in this park.
And the bunt by Rogers instrumental there in getting the second guy into scoring position.
That pitch had some snap to it. 2 balls and a strike. And Jose Bautista, our Georgia Lottery, hitting the jackpot feature.
Horrible April, and look at the improvement in May. Biggest increase in Toronto history from one month to the next.
Well, his is a remarkable story. It took him a long time to figure things out in the big leagues, but once he got to Toronto, the light switch turned on, and he's turned into one of the game's great sluggers. Bounces this ball to short. Simmons will glove and fire to first in time. A walk, 2 hits and a sacrifice leads to 2 Toronto runs, and they enjoy a 3-0 second inning lead. Second inning. Freddie Freeman will lead things off for the Braves, and that's the subject of our SunTrust shining moment.
His last 12 games hitting .362. Great numbers at home and good interleague numbers too. 17 RBIs in 17 games at home. Very impressive. He's got 31 in all, and remember, he missed 2 weeks.
After that last half inning, Chris Medlin did go down the stairs in the Braves dugout with Jim Lovell, the Braves assistant athletic trainer, who's now back and standing by Carlos Tosca. Freeman, a first pitch swing, drives that one deep center. Rasmus going back, leaps at the fence, can't get it. The ball loose on the warning track, and Freeman around second on his way to third base. A laser to straightaway center by Freddie Freeman.
Fastball, middle of the plate. Squared up and almost hit out of here. And almost caught, too, by Colby Rasmus. I'm not sure if he got a glove on this or not. Well, it did. Kind of overextended for it.
A triple all the way for Freeman. He's third in the big leagues. But to finish the point about Medlen, Braves bullpen's busy. So we don't know if he'll be able to continue. David Carpenter is the man up and throwing. A little adjustment for McCann led to big things yesterday, huh?
Yeah, moved up on the plate some and said he was just swinging through the ball a little better, too. Game-winning home run, leading off the 10th.
And for the Braves, who went such a long time between home runs by their designated hitters in interleague play, between McCann and Gattis, they hit 3 of them against the Blue Jays. And that's bounced foul to the right side. 2 balls and a strike for Brian McCann. These are Ram Truck's power stats.
Look at his last 15 games. 6 homers and 14 RBIs. Less than a homer, less than every 10 at bats. He's on a rampage.
Three balls and a strike. Toronto shifts for McCann. And he takes a strike to fill up the count.
It's not a big slider so far from Rogers, but it's certainly hard enough at 88.
Ryan walks. Braves runners are at the corners with nobody out.
This guy had a .297 average against him while pitching out of Toronto's bullpen, but only 2 homers allowed. But again, a lot of base runners, works out of the stretch quite a bit. That slider had a little more break to it.
That's off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dan had a good road trip, 4 for 16, .250 average, a couple of homers.
Great to see him get the homestand off to a good start. And bounced foul past Brian Snitker. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I also thought he got shortchanged on a couple of strikeouts too, where he got caught looking on pitches that I thought were ball 4, especially in Toronto. 3-2 counts.
He's got to protect here with McCann at first, Freeman at third. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He takes a called third. 1 out.
Didn't get shortchanged there. Second strikeout for Rogers. Looked like a good pitch. Yeah, he got caught looking for something else. Look at that slider. Took a fastball right there.
Last 4 strikeouts for Dan have all been looking.
Well, that's one of the dangers if you are behind in the count, you look for something other than the fastball. It's impossible to pull the trigger and get to it.
Let's see what Francisco can do. One swing of the bat could tie the game. He was shooting for it, came up empty. No balls and a strike.
Continues to throw in the bullpen. That would lead us to believe that that line drive off Medlin's knee was enough to send him to the training room.
Little tapper toward Rogers, and he's going to get Freeman in a rundown. And the tag applied for out number 2. McCann to second, Francisco at first, 2 outs, and Freeman erased from third base.
You don't run into too many one unassisteds on plays like this. A good play by Rogers to track him down. It's a hard one to read as the base runner. You don't want to give the Blue Jays a chance to turn a double play, but that ball was bounced so high I don't think they were going to have a chance to turn it anyway. And Freddie ran into the out.
So B.J. Upton is the batter. He's the 8th place hitter. And with a base open, you might think, okay, pitch him carefully. But the pitcher's not going to come up, it appears, next. Chris Johnson's grabbed a bat and waits next. 1 ball, no strikes. That's inside. 2 balls, no strikes. BJ got some time on the bench, trying to work on his swing while on the 5-game road trip for the Braves. See if some of that work pays off tonight. In the driver's seat, 3 balls, no strikes.
I believe BJ even looked at Snitker to see if he might get a green light here. So he must be planning on taking all the way down by 3.
He was. Now 3-1.
Confidence in that pitch. Even 3-1. He's been throwing it for a first pitch strike to a lot of guys. That was a beauty there. 3-1.
Now the runners will be off with the pitch. From 3-0 to 3-2 now for B.J. Upton. And a pop fly foul on a play. Another visit from JP Arencibia. Swing and a miss. And Upton is down on strikes. The Braves strand a pair and run themselves out of a potential run. 3-0 heading to the third. As Chris Medlin's knocked from this game after 2 innings. That means David Carpenter answers the AT&T call to the bullpen with the Jays up for the 3rd inning.
His 6th appearance, not one that he was expecting to be in quite this soon, I'm sure. He last worked on the 25th at New York, an inning and 2/3, gave up 3 hits but no runs or walks, and he struck out 2. His spot will be up first next inning.
And here's why Carpenter's in the game. Chris Medlin injured a moment ago.
Line drive off the bat of Bonifacio caught him right on the inside of his left knee. And that one hurt.
So 4 hits, 3 runs in 2 innings for Chris Medlin. And now Edwin Encarnacion to work for Toronto. He had a blue pit back in the 1st. Keep in mind the Braves have been playing a little bit shorthanded in their bullpen. So a perfect storm for the Braves today, who got Jordan Walden back from the disabled list. Braves are carrying just 6 relief pitchers. Pop fly foul by Encarnacion. No balls, 2 strikes.
And David Carpenter last year pitched in 16 games in Las Vegas and then called up to Toronto, and he pitched in 3 games for the Blue Jays before this offseason, where he went with John Farrell, the Blue Jays manager last year, to Boston.
So you'd love to see David have an easy time of it, as you see JP Arencibia, the Delta Airlines on deck batter, waiting for Encarnacion to finish his turn. Full count. And Encarnacion walks to start the inning. Here's Arencibia. He's got 29 RBIs and 12 home runs. Arencibia lives in Nashville in the offseason. As Joe said, a star at Tennessee. 4th in school history in RBIs, 5th in homers, 7th in hits, and 9th in at-bats. JP was born in Miami and went to the same high school that Alex Rodriguez did, Westminster Christian High School.
Good baseball school. They put out a lot of good players.
Carpenter paints a corner. Good pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's out of play, foul to the right. Arencibia now a 2-2 count.
And as we described in Toronto, this guy tough to walk. Just 3 walks on the season. One of those came Sunday against Baltimore. Prior to that, the one before that was April 22nd, I think 27 games ago.
Runner at first goes, and Arencibia lines off the glove of Simmons. He'll recover in time to get the catcher at first. Encarnacion in safely at second. 1 out.
There's something weird going on tonight. I don't know what it is. I mentioned that Chris Medlin needed some better mojo. He needed a little better luck. But tonight, there's some weird stuff going on. You never see Anderson have trouble with a line drive like that. It would have been an easy double play.
It is, however, the first out of the inning, and it brings up Colby Rasmus. Rasmus grounded out to end the Jays first. Got to figure Colby's got friends and family here tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure a bunch of them came tonight anticipating perhaps another brother versus brother matchup, but Corey was sent back to Gwinnett today. A couple of Rasmus fans right there.
That's off the plate. 3 balls, no strikes. Colby's got big time power. We saw that up in Toronto. He had 23 homers last year. He's got 8 this season. And he just took a 4-pitch walk. Second one of those from Carpenter. And here's his Turris.
If he does hit for himself in the bottom half of the inning, and it would not surprise me to see that happen. The Braves shorthanded down in the bullpen anyway. Staying in the game means they want him to pitch deeper into the ball game. By hitting for himself, they will want him to pitch deeper into the game, and to do that, he's going to need to be a little more efficient.
Sharply hit. Uggla handles the snow cone, and Simmons a beautiful turn. That was slick. 2 outs on 1 pitch after Carpenter issued his second walk of the game. Nothing doing in the Toronto third. 3-0 Blue Jays. Is going to start this inning for the Braves offense. Just joining us, Chris Medlin started, gave up a first inning run, gave up 2 in the second. But the big news is Bonifacio hit a line drive off his leg, back of his leg, and Chris was knocked from the game. As soon as we get an update, we'll let you know.
David did get that double play. He needed to shorten his inning there in the top of the third. Actually had opportunities for 2 double plays there, and they got the one turned on the ground. David has 1 at bat this year, 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
With a name like Carpenter, you got to figure he's good with the wood.
Naturally.
Well hit, but Bautista is there, and Carpenter's the first out. Back to the top we go. Andrelton Simmons. He started the game with a single. Can you tell school's out? Andrelton up to 253 now for the season. No balls, 2 strikes. That's a roller foul. We'll do it again.
That's that pitch that's been very effective for him. It's enough off the fastball that it throws everybody's timing off. And it's not a hard slider, but it's moving enough, and that one was down. So an even better pitch. But it's almost like a hybrid between a slider and a cutter.
In the air to center. Rasmus comes in. He's got it. 2 outs. As you mentioned, not surprisingly, Rogers away from Coors Field in Denver has been a much more effective pitcher, giving Toronto exactly what they were hoping he'd give them tonight. Got an early lead, and he's not given much, if anything, to the Braves tonight. Just 2 hits. He got Jason Hayward to hit into a double play in the first. Jason 1 hit in his last 16 tries. A 4-pitch walk puts Hayward at first base. Let's see if we can get Justin going. Home cooking's been his specialty. Justin hitting .295 here at Turner Field, but Joey's lately having trouble making contact.
Yeah, quite a few strikeouts being racked up by Justin lately. That strikeout in the first inning, his 15th in his last 33 at bats. Put a dent in his average, too. It's the fourth 3-ball count already for Rogers.
Low and outside, 1 ball, no strikes.
And that was pitch number 50.
It's been 12 days since Upton's touched one off, so he's due to homer. Leads the National League with 14 long balls. One ball, 1 strike.
He has thrown that pitch with success, 86 to 88 miles an hour. And seems like he's throwing it more than his fastball.
He was quoted in the Toronto papers saying fastball, slider are the 2 predominant pitches he has. But he also said he has a changeup that he may have to break out a time or 2.
Well, you need 3 pitches. It's hard to get by for over the course of 2 or 3 trips through the batting order without a 3rd pitch. Going to it again.
Upton fouled that away to stay alive. Still a 1-2 count.
Yeah, good save there by Justin. And largely because that was pretty flat pitch.
That one popped out of Arencibia's glove. That's a break. 1 ball, 2 strikes still. He does an amazing job, Joe, I think, of letting the ball travel.
He waits longer than anybody else because he's got such a quick bat. He's able to do that. Not everybody is as blessed as he is with that quick reaction time and the quick hands.
Driving the pitch count up for Rogers here. Hoping he'll make a mistake with another 1-2 offering. It's not going to happen. Swing and a miss is the 4th strikeout of the night for Esmil Rogers, who leads 3-0.
We still do not have an update on Chris Medlin, who was hit with that pitch in the comeback in the second inning. Of course, we will pass it along, but I do have a Brandon Beachy update for you all. He had his second rehab assignment today, 67 pitches, 42 strikes, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. That was in Rome today, and we asked Freddie Gonzalez when he thought Beachy would be back. He said he's expecting 3 more starts. If all goes well, no setbacks, he's planning on bringing him off the DL in time for the June 18th doubleheader. Thought that was interesting, guys.
Indeed, Elizabeth, and certainly something we all look forward to. That doubleheader would be Tuesday, June 18th against the Mets.
Yeah, and a good outing today. Brendan's got to be encouraged by that. And it's like spring training. The rehab is like spring training, and how each subsequent start you try to stretch it out a little bit more, build up some arm strength and conditioning.
2 quick strikes to Emilio Bonifacio. He's the man that had the batted ball that knocked Medlin from the game. Obviously, you're encouraged by the results that you saw on the graphic for Brandon Beachy. Are we still at the point in his rehab where you don't really worry so much about the number of hits and runs?
No, I wouldn't be if I were Brandon.
Deep short. Simmons has to unload quickly and not in time to get Bonifacio. Bonifacio's 2 for 2.
When he puts the ball in play, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense to come up with a perfect play because he's so fast. And that one was hit to the hole. And as good as Andrelton's arm is, couldn't make the play on that fast runner.
So Bonifacio will put on the oven mitt at first. And there's good reason for that. He was hurt a lot last year. Missed 46 games, had surgery to repair his left thumb. He sprained it. And he's off the first pitch. McCann's throw is right on the money. Bonifacio's thrown out. He's 1 for 2 in steals tonight, and that's the second time he's been gunned down this year.
Well, that was a good catch and throw by Brian that time. He had a good grip on the baseball, good pitch to throw on, quick release, and right on the money.
So Kawasaki bats and has an even count, a ball and a strike. Might have tweaked something in the back of his left leg with that swing.
He was doing a little bit of that in his first at bat, kind of stretching.
Trying to stay loose. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Before the game, our cameras caught something that Kawasaki was doing to prepare. Something I've never seen a major league player do. This is part of his pregame routine.
A lot of stretching, a little weight root work. All by his lonesome. Not seen anything quite like that.
And he draws a walk. That's the 3rd walk from Carpenter in relief tonight. And he's in relief because Chris Medlin left the game with what was termed an upper calf contusion. Brad Hange, the Braves media relations director, said in the press box a moment ago that Medlin's expected to make his next start, or is expected to be okay for his next start. That was what Brad said. Hope that'll be the case. Here's Rogers. His sacrifice led to the 2-run second for Toronto. Two and 0 to the pitcher.
Trying to give you an out.
Top of the order next. 3 balls, no strikes. There's the bunt. Freeman will fire to Dan Uggla, who covers the bag. Kawasaki at second. 2 outs, and already a big night for Melky Cabrera.
Base hit and a run scored in the first, and then amidst all the boos coming up again in the second inning, he comes through with a 2-run single. And booed again as he comes to the plate here in the 4th inning, but he's had the better of it tonight.
That's taken downstairs. I remember Melky played with the Braves back in 2010. Really struggled. He hit .255. Four homers, 42 RBIs. Then went to Kansas City. Hit .305 with 18 homers, 87 runs batted in. Then .346 with the Giants last year before being suspended after 113 games.
One of the things we've been talking about with the Blue Jays and this hot streak they're on with the bats is how well they have swung the bats with runners in scoring position. They've had a man in scoring position every inning tonight so far. They're 1 for 4 in that category. Melky's hit being the one hit. But 8 hits and 25 at bats so far against Atlanta in this series.
Well, they can hit. There's no question about that. Count. Shows you the last 6 games, Toronto's averaging over 7 runs per game. Their top 3 hitters have sparked the Jays on a run that sees them leading the AL in runs scored, with Cabrera, Bautista, and Encarnacion back to back to back at the top of the order. Hits are one thing, but walks another. Carpenter's just issued his 4th free pass in an inning and 2/3.
And as I said, helping out the pen by pitching deep into the ball game, he was going to need to be more efficient. He got the double play to end the 3rd inning. That certainly helped. 4 walks already.
And to walk 2 guys in front of this man is asking for trouble. Jose Bautista. And he loves the first pitch and pops it up. Foul ground. Juan Francisco is there, and Bautista really frustrated. Braves get a break. He pops out. Toronto fails to score in the 4th. Up for the bottom of the 4th inning. The 4, 5, 6 hitters are due against Esmil Rogers. And as always, all season long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Great to be back in Atlanta, our first of an 8-game homestand. It has not started all that well. Chris Medlin knocked out with injury. Esmil Rogers, a spot start, has held the Braves to 2 hits. One of them, a triple by Freddie Freeman tonight.
Juan Perez has begun to throw in their bullpen. As I said, they'd be very happy if they got 5 innings out of Rogers tonight, but they've got somebody loosening up just in case he runs out of gas here.
Freeman strokes a single to right. He's 2 for 2. And is 7 for 11 against the Blue Jays in this series.
That might have been the changeup that he wanted to kind of mix in once in a while. It had too much of the plate and was up.
Brian McCann walked back in the Braves second. Elizabeth, in the early moments of our broadcast tonight, talked about his adjustment at the plate. I mentioned a milestone that Brian is seeking. He's only 5 hits away from 1,000 now. He's a big league hitter. The way he's swinging it, there's a good chance you'll see it happen on this homestand.
I would say.
Bryant tries to spoil the shift, but flies out to left. And Melky Cabrera is there for out number 1. Here's Dan Uggla. Dan took a called 3rd strike back in the 2nd inning.
Bullpen's going to get busy again too in case the pitcher spot comes up here.
Aaron Sevilla might have been crossed up again. 1 ball, no strikes. Bet. Uggla hit by a pitch. And that brings the potential tying run to the plate. And it also brings John Gibbons from the Blue Jays dugout. And that might be the last pitch that Rogers throws in the game.
Well, despite the 2 base runners, they've got to be very pleased that he's thrown 3 innings of shutout baseball and into the 4th inning shutting the Braves out. When you look at the numbers he had put up against Atlanta before. Good slider.
Braves threatening, however, in the 4th inning, trailing 3-zip. by the Home Depot, by Toyota, and by Sony Pictures After Earth. 3-0 is your score at Turner Field. Toronto's in front in the 4th inning. Rogers making the spot start is taken down by John Gibbons. And a man who's been awfully tough against left-handed hitters now strides in from the Jays bullpen.
Last year, split time between Nashville and Milwaukee. Lefties only hit 154 against them. This year at Buffalo, they didn't have a hit at all against him. They were 0 for 19.
His name Juan Perez. He faces Juan Francisco for the Braves with Freeman at second, Ugla at first, and 1 out in the inning.
He's no kid. He's 34 years old. He's been with a lot of different organizations, including the Braves. Pitched at Gwinnett in 2009.
And another cross-up, it would appear.
Well, if not, it was a pitch nowhere near where he wanted it. Aaron Sevilla out to talk to him.
He's been like a goalie back there tonight. Nothing's gotten past him yet. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good numbers at Buffalo. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks. Last year in limited duty with Milwaukee, he had a ton of walks.
Popped up back our way and into the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Jays come to town with a deep bullpen. We've talked about the Braves carrying 6 relief pitchers. They've been doing that for well over a week now. It's a crowded pen. The Jays have 8 relievers available tonight, and 3 of them are left-handed.
Well, one of them is a guy that was very impressive yesterday, Brett Cecil. Struck out 4 batters, the last 4 he faced in his 2 innings of work. Look where this guy strides, Chip. You know, typically you like to see a pitcher stride right to the target, to home plate. He's stepping almost directly to the third base line and flying way open.
Full count pitch for Francisco with 1 out. And popped up is Turris in foul ground right at the third base bag. And that's out number 2.
Six feet, 190 pounds. Look for these steps. That step is so far offline. It's amazing that he's able to have any control at all.
It looks like it hurts. But he gets the first out. But now a right-hand batter up there, B.J. Upton. B.J. struck out to end the Braves' second. One ball, no strikes.
Take another look at this from another angle. How far offline he is with that stride. That's unusual.
Freeman single to start the inning. Dan Ugla hit by a pitch with 1 out. After Francisco popped out, B.J. stands in. And looks at a breaking ball over the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, the way he strides and the way he flies open when he does throw that breaking ball, it'd be easy to give up because it looks like it's coming out of his hand. It looks like it's going to be thrown into the dugout. It's not that big a breaking ball, just the angle in which it's coming out relative to his body.
Upton down on strikes. Bat goes flying, helmet is spiked, and B.J. Upton's frustrations pouring over. And their 3, 4, 5 hitters are coming up against David Carpenter. Beautiful weather tonight at Turner Field. 81 degrees at first pitch. Nice crowd gathering tonight. Hope for more of the same for Game 2, which will take place here again tomorrow night. Then the Nationals are in town over the weekend. Friday, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Then the Pittsburgh Pirates early next week wrap up this homestand.
Now that one's different right there. It's like someone wore their lunchbox to the ballpark. Didn't need it for school anymore.
That's a good call. Here's Encarnacion. He's singled and walked tonight. Didn't mean to, and is down a strike.
I had one of those helmets one time, but I had to make mine out of a cardboard box. Cut the face out.
Yep.
Laser said mine fit better.
Yeah, but he can grow into that thing, right? Huh. Speaking of this, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I didn't have headphones. That was the difference.
Two balls, 2 strikes. There's a good start. Encarnacion chased a slider, and he's out number 1.
First strikeout for David. Like he took a little off of that too. Very effective. Wasn't a strike. Got him to chase it.
Figure this will be his last inning. He's due up first when the Braves come up in the inning. Let's see if he can finish with a flourish. Pumpkin strikes now, 0-1. So this being rivalry week all throughout Major League Baseball, at least the first couple of games in these first two in Atlanta. Does that mean these guys are our natural rivals now?
I don't know how they figured that.
To third, Francisco scoops and fires. 2 outs. We got the Angels and Dodgers playing, the Cubs and the White Sox.
Yeah, I get all the geography.
Right.
You know, Baltimore and Washington.
Right.
But in the past, it was always Boston and Atlanta that were natural rivals because of the origination of the Braves in Boston. So somehow that's changed. Now, maybe Philadelphia complained.
Maybe.
You know, maybe they complained and said, hey.
Right, yeah. No mas.
Why are we playing Toronto? So instead, they're playing Boston.
As Rasmus digs in. It's a shame we got to spend so little time in Toronto. It's such a cool city. And what made it real tough was the Sunday night game from New York. Bears were a little road weary. Got to Toronto about 3:30 in the morning on Monday. Played a night game that night, day game yesterday, and back at it with the same team in a different town for game 3 of this 4-game home and home series.
Tell you what, old David knows this is his last inning, and he is just rocking and firing right now. 96, 95. There's that change up, just missed. Good pitch though, good location.
Strike one makes a difference, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Toronto's had their leadoff batter on in the first, third, and fourth innings, but not here.
Popped up. Jason Hayward in shallow right. BJ Upton never saw it. He was asking for help from the point of contact, but Hayward's there to make the play. 3 up, 3 down. Good work for David Carpenter. His spot's due first when we come back. Time for our Blimpie game summary as we move to the home half of the 5th inning tonight.
Blue Jays got one in the first. Cabrera led it off with a single, got things going, and scored on an attempt at a double play that the Braves couldn't turn. And then in the second inning, with 2 out, Cabrera came through again with a 2-run single. That's the scoring so far tonight. Chris Medlin with a little ice on his right calf and knee. Or maybe, yeah, I think it was his right knee.
But as we were told, hopefully he'll be okay for his next start. As Reed Johnson pinch hits for David Carpenter. Fired 3 scoreless innings of relief. Bats rolled foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sharply hit out towards second. Bonifacio played a tricky hop.
In between hopping while Bonifacio is reacquainting himself with the position at second base. And it's been a little bit of a slow process, but made a nice play there.
Perez gets the first out of the 5th. Now we go back to the top of the Braves order. Andrelton Simmons is 1 for 2. Nothing in 1. Anthony Barbaros beginning to loosen up. And 3 pitches takes care of Andrelton. 2 outs.
He's one of the toughest guys to strike out on the team too, in terms of strikeouts per at bats. But this guy's giving you a lot of motion. He's jumping at you, and if he throws you something off speed like that, it's hard to not buy into the motion. Plus his fastball's up over 90. Got to respect that.
Tough assignment for Hayward, who looks down and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Jason 1 hit in his last 16 at bats. Has hit into a double play tonight and walked. All Perez has done is throw 19 pitches, 13 of them strikes.
Jason's the only guy on the team that's faced him before. 0 for 2, struck out twice. That was before tonight. At Gwinnett in 2009, Juan was in 47 games, all in relief. 2-4 with a 3.47 ERA, good ERA. Had a save. 59 strikeouts in 57 innings and 36 walks to go with it.
Jason fouls that back to the screen. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, you love the strikeouts. The bases on balls for a left-handed setup guy. Don't like that part of the equation.
Well, maybe he's figured out something against lefties, having not allowed a hit to one this year, where he can be a little more aggressive.
Fly ball toward left and playable for Melky Cabrera. He's got it, and the Braves are out in order in the 5th. Still a 3-0 Blue Jays lead. 3 of this 4-game series between the Braves and the Blue Jays. And all season long, Braves baseball on Sports South is being presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. Joe Simpson, Elizabeth Morrow, Chip Carey, and the rest of our Fox crew. Great to be back in Atlanta. As you see, the 3rd pitcher to toil for the Braves tonight.
And that is Anthony Varvaro. He pitched yesterday, gave up a run on 2 hits in the 3rd of an inning against the Jays, a walk and no strikeouts. He has actually suffered blown save in each of the last 2 outings. He had the lead yesterday and gave up the lead, but also did that at New York on the 24th.
Kind of want to put an asterisk next to the one in New York. That was that
Yeah,
rainstorm at Citi Field.
that's exactly right. Pitching in a monsoon.
Well, let's see if he can be efficient and give the Braves offense a chance to catch up. Maicer Izturis starts it off for the Jays. He's 0 for 2. Izturis, a lifetime .273 hitter in the big leagues. A lot of time with the Angels. He's Cesar Izturis' brother out of Venezuela. And a shot in the right field. Hayward comes in. Did he make the catch? Yes. Hayward took away a hit.
Boy, you got to get a good jump to make this play, and Jason did. What a good diving catch. Zaxby's indescribably good play. Picked it right off the turf. Nice catch, and able to hang on after he hit the ground. What a play on a tough line drive.
A presence of mind, too, and strength as well, Joe, to lift the glove up while diving to the turf. That's how Jason Worth got hurt with Washington, you remember?
Yeah, he didn't get the glove caught under him, did he? Jason I'm talking about.
So Varvaro gets the first. Here's Bonifacio. A couple of infield hits this evening. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keep an eye on the national score for you tonight. Braves will play them after this series. Nationals are playing Baltimore tonight. Adam LaRoche for the Nats has had a huge month. He's at 7 home runs coming into tonight's play for the Washington club in May. Fly ball to right. And that's playable for Jason. He's got that. 2 outs. And Gretchen Caney tells us in that game with Baltimore, Ryan Zimmerman's hit 3 homers tonight.
Wow.
For the Nationals. And they are playing in Baltimore. It's a 6-3 game in the 7th.
I think Jordan Zimmerman's pitching tonight
I'll check
for the Nats, which means the Braves will miss him.
That's correct. That's not a bad thing. Zimmerman is 8-2 coming into play tonight. We're going to get Strasburg. We're going to get Gio. We're going to get Detweiler, I would assume, in that series. As Kawasaki behind in the count with a strike. Now 0-2.
Detweiler's eligible to come off during that series.
I think so. I think they were talking maybe Sunday. And Kawasaki is struck out. Very impressive 6th inning for Anthony Varvaro. Jason Hayward with a terrific catch. Got things started in the top of this 6th inning. Braves are down 3-0. So without further ado, we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Our AT&T U-verse trivia question tonight is, who holds the all-time National League record for most extra base hits and runs scored in interleague play?
Really? What did we do to her to deserve a question like that? Wait till tomorrow when it's who has the most broken bats.
Wow, what a tough question. A rough way to start the homestand. Let's see if we can figure out the answer for you as Justin Upton starts things off for the Braves. 3, 4, and 5 coming up. 5 up, 5 down for Perez, who will try to work his second full inning here in the 6th.
Blue Jays made a lot of changes personnel-wise between yesterday and today. DL Brett Lawrie, third baseman, designated for assignment. Ramon Ortiz. Called up a guy the Braves are familiar with. Todd Redmond came from Buffalo along with Juan Perez. Todd Redmond pitched in the Braves system several years.
Two balls and a strike for Justin. And it has been a revolving door for this Jays pitching staff in 2013. We talked about the starters, same thing with their relief corps, which is in a bit of flux as well. Casey Jansen's their closer, and he wasn't available yesterday because of some shoulder problems. Don't know if he's available tonight. That's the real shame of it for Toronto. Their offense is awfully dynamic, awfully powerful, especially at home, but their pitching's let them down, either from ineffectiveness or injury.
Neil Wagner loosening up. Just came up today too.
Upton's down swinging for the 3rd time tonight. His strikeouts climbing at an alarming rate. 1 away. Braves have 3 hits tonight. Freeman's got 2 of them. Andrelton Simmons led off the game with a single. That's the sum total of the attack. Strike 1. There are many things to appreciate about Freddie Freeman's work at the plate. His ability to hit with 2 strikes, his ability to hit with 2 outs and runners on. Such a young player. How about a .319 batting average against left-handed pitching? That's his mark as this at bat continues with a 2-1 count.
Well, you got enough to mess with here, but watch this guy's delivery. Steps to the side, throws, and now watch him. It's like, oh, I was too close to the plate. He is backing up. By the time the ball gets to home plate, he is already backpedaling up the front slope of the mound.
And that is some serious recoil, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Two balls, 2 strikes. He strikes out Freddie Freeman. 2 outs. Freddie's perfect night comes to an end. Breaking ball for a strike. Perez due first when we get to the 7th. Figure this will be his last inning in relief. The way he's throwing, that would be a very good thing. He's been awfully effective. And he's ahead of McCann 0-2. Sharply hit. The Jays had a shift on, and a beautiful play takes care of Brian McCann. That ball almost knocked Kawasaki to his backside, but he stayed with it, and the Braves are out in order after 6. By Sony Pictures, this is the end. By Ram Trucks. by Georgia Power and by AT&T. 3-0 Toronto. We're through 6 at Turner Field. Braves with 3 hits tonight in Game 3 of the series. School is out for the summertime here in Atlanta. Great number of kids enjoying perhaps their first visit to the ballpark here in 2013. We hope you make your plans to join us again tomorrow night. Mike Minor and R.A. Dickey are the scheduled starting pitchers. What about you? I'm happy to see Juan Perez out of the game. Boy, was he impressive.
And to think about what he had been working on or what he'd been doing in Buffalo to be able to carry that to the big leagues and to be able to strut his stuff a little bit here at Turner Field. Good for him at age 34 that maybe he's found something that'll keep him here. But unfortunately, to the Braves' expense.
Pardon me, Joe. Anthony Gose will pinch hit. Anthony Varvaro out for another inning. He looked awfully good in the 6th. One ball, one strike. That's Jose Reyes. Saw him sprinting around the turf in Toronto last couple of days.
Was he running backwards at all? Thought maybe had a little padding there on the back of his head in case he fell running backwards.
High pop fly down the left field line. Upton is there and in foul ground makes the play. And that's out number 1. Go back to the top of the order. We're saying July for Reyes. Maybe sooner than that, though.
The way we were seeing him move around in Toronto, you would think it would be before that.
Maybe by then he'll find his barber.
That's different.
2 hits and a walk for Cabrera. 2 RBIs and a run scored. The 2 RBIs came in the 2nd. And he shoots one into center field. That drops in. B.J. Upton played it on a hop. And Melky Cabrera has a 3-hit night. That lets Bautista hit with a man aboard. Bautista was really frustrated last time up. David Carpenter had walked 2 men in the 4th inning, and Bautista swung at the first pitch, popped up in foul ground to end a Toronto threat. And he swung at the first pitch almost every time in the series. Play, strike 1.
I was asking Paul Mahalam about the at bat last night or yesterday afternoon where he actually low bridged Bautista, knocked him down, and then 2 pitches later Bautista hits a homer. He goes, yeah, that wasn't quite the way it was planned, but he said he also knows that I wasn't throwing at him. He and I played together in the minor leagues with Pittsburgh. And he said, you know, he's always had power. He always wanted to hit for power. He's just figured out a way to do it and make more contact.
Bounce toward third. Francisco will fire to second for 1. And an off balance relay to first from Dan Uggla. Won't get Bautista. 2 outs.
Like Juan gave him a good feed. Yeah, he just got caught on the wrong foot with a good feed that was kind of leading him toward first base. Dan just couldn't get much on that throw on the wrong foot.
Encarnacion with 2 outs. And And he whacks one foul. Strike one.
I'm talking about Ike Davis's swing in New York, Chip, about his hitch that he has where he really drops his hands. Watch Encarnacion. He holds his hands very close to his body, but he pushes them straight back to get him in a good hitting position. And actually flattens his bat out a little bit in the process, too.
Yeah, Davis's swing's almost like he's cranking an ice cream churn before he gets ready to hit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Juan can't get that. So the Braves can't turn a double play. That allows Encarnacion to hit, and he singles for the 2nd time. And Toronto threatens with 2 on, 2 out in the 7th, and Arencibia's coming up.
High pitch, too. Still able to get on top of it in a high fastball. He's got some quick hands.
Arencibia picked up his 29th RBI in the 1st inning. And that one off Uggla's glove and into center field. I got to tell you, the last 2 games defensively, very ugly.
Nothing to write home about. This ought to be an E4. I mean, the throw sailed a little bit on Anthony, but it was a catchable ball, and Dan had it skip off the web of his glove.
So runners in scoring position now for Arencibia, and it is an E4 for Uggla. That's alarming as well. Dan now with 8 errors in the first 48 games. One ball, 1 strike. Now Varvaro 1 strike away from sending this one to the stretch.
Good try, good idea to try to get him to chase something upstairs. Laid off.
Swing and a miss. Good work by Varvaro to pitch around a mess in the 7th inning. Stretch time in Atlanta. 3-0 Jays. Inning, game 2 of this Atlanta portion of the 4-game series comes your way here tomorrow night. And here are your Chevron upcoming starting pitchers.
Interesting matchup tomorrow night with Mike Minor going for his 7th win. He's been the best Braves pitcher over the first 2 months of the season. And he'll go against last year's National League Cy Young Award winner who was traded to Toronto, R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer, who has not gotten off to a great start with Toronto, but in recent starts, last couple, he's been pretty good.
So that's tomorrow night. Still some work to be done tonight. As you see, Anthony Gose checks in left field. He remains in the number 9 spot on Toronto's lineup card. This is Neil Wagner, which I mentioned, just up from Buffalo, where he was impressive.
Tell you what, the Buffalo Bison are doing a number on the Braves tonight.
And Dan Uggla's first look is a swing and a foul ball back.
This guy was 13 for 13 in saves for Buffalo, an .089 ERA, and has had 16 consecutive scoreless outings since April 17th.
And 96 letter high is pretty good.
Yeah, he's come back to the big leagues bringing it. He's spent a brief amount of time in the big leagues with Oakland. .98 on that pitch.
He's from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and North Dakota State University. One ball, 2 strikes for Dan Uggla. And he's down swinging. Uggla's struck out for the 2nd time tonight. One away in the 7th.
That was a nasty breaking ball. Looked like a split finger pitch. He had put the grip on the baseball as he was getting his sign, as he does before every pitch, in a split finger grip. And that was a beauty to Dan.
9 Braves have struck out tonight. That's 3 innings of no contact. We're in the 7th. Here's Francisco. Juan is 0 for 2. Strike 1.
Arancibia wanted a high fastball. He got a high fastball. That might have been a little too far up the ladder.
One ball, 2 strikes. That's the 24th time the Braves have struck out 10 times in a game this year. 2 quick outs in the 7th.
4 of the last 5 have gone down on strikes. That was a changeup actually at 86.
Rough night for the Upton brothers at the plate. Justin struck out 3 times. BJ's gone down swinging twice. And very late at 97 miles an hour. Strike 1. Evan Gattis waits on deck. 2 balls and a strike. One more wide one, and Gaddis will come up. BJ will face a 3-2 pitch. In the air to right center field, but that's playable for Batista, and the side is retired. Braves out in order in the 7th. We head to the 8th.
I think it'd be all right.
We can ask, but we know. Time National League record for most extra base hits and runs scored in interleague games.
I had either Barry Bonds or Albert Pujols. I'm going to go with Pujols.
All right, I'll go with Bonds because I had both of those guys too. Let's see if we're right. Oh.
Is that your phone that was ringing or mine?
Chipper Jones knows the answer to our trivia question tonight.
Not a doubles for that guy too?
Hey, it's nice to see this guy at the ballpark. And even nicer to see this guy back on the mound for the Braves. They've missed Jordan Walden over the last couple of weeks.
This will be his 15th ball game. You see his numbers for the year. He's really done a great job of cutting down on his walks. That was a problem for him the last year or so with the Angels, but only 3 walks in his 13 innings. And he too, when he is healthy, can rush it up there.
And you made the point in Toronto yesterday, and I thought it was a good point. The Braves have arms they like in their bullpen, but it's a little different pitching those guys in high leverage situations without a lot of major league experience in those situations.
Yeah,
Jordan's been through the wars.
And I'm not sure if I made my point very well, but it's not that they're not capable of doing it. Those guys that were down there and are down there. It's just you got to be willing to be patient. And
Rasmus pops up the first pitch he sees. Simmons gives way to Justin, who's there for the first out.
And I'll say suffer. That's not really the right word, but be willing to hang in there when it takes them a while to get their feet on the ground in those roles.
Hey, you think about, and the team that comes to mind real quickly is Houston's bullpen. Remember when they had
Bradledge, Octavio Dotel, and Billy Wagner. Well, Wagner was the closer. Dotel was the setup guy. Bradledge was the 7th inning guy.
Right.
All 3 of those guys were very successful major league closers. But there are fans who either don't want to believe or don't understand that there really is a difference between getting the last 3 outs in a 1-run game as opposed to outs in the 7th or the 8th inning. And I think we were talking about that in Toronto as well. The numbers may say one thing. As Izturis shoots the bat into the stands on a skip over the Braves dugout. I personally have no problem with sabermetrics, and I have no problem with analyzing numbers. But the fact of the matter is, this is a game not played by robots, but by human beings. And if you take the human element out of the game, what's the point of watching? Izturis, a little roller toward first. Freeman at the first base bag has it roll under his glove. Holy cow.
Did we fly through the twilight zone on the flight from Toronto yesterday? Goodness.
An ugly night. Second Braves error. And that'll bring up Bonifacio with a runner at first and 1 out. 2 hits and a fly ball for Emilio.
Anybody that thinks there's no difference between those late innings, talk to the guys that have been successful. Talk to Billy Wagner or talk to John Smoltz and let him explain to you how coming into the 9th inning with the game on the line after your teammates have been battling for 8 innings to have the lead and the weight that's on you to finish it. Not everybody can handle that.
And Joe Borowski, remember him, the closer for the Cubs? I asked him what that was like as a closer. He said, the greatest feeling in the world is knowing you've come in and finished off what the rest of your teammates handed you in the 9th inning. 3 hours of hard work to win a ball game. So the other side of that coin is there's no worse feeling than walking into the locker room knowing how hard the rest of your team worked and you have an off night and the loss is on you in the 9th inning. Two strikes for Bonifacio. So I think our point is there's an awful lot of potential in the pen, but right now with O'Flaherty and Venters out and injured and done for the year in all likelihood, they're a little short on experience, save Kimbrel and Jordan Walden in those high leverage situations. There's a good pitch. Bonifacio swung and missed, and that's the 2nd out.
Good to have Jordan back out there. He's faced these guys a lot while in the American League.
Munenori Kawasaki, shortstop, takes a strike.
Saw Johnny Venters on the bench. He was here doing his early rehab work, as was Eric O'Flaherty.
No balls and a strike.
There's 3 major components of your pitching staff that have all undergone Tommy John surgery in less than 12 months. You start with Brendan Beachy.
Pitched very well today in another rehab start. The news today is that he might be ready to go by the time the Mets come to town for the big 5-game series, including the doubleheader on June 18th. And of course, barring any kind of setbacks, rain delays, or what have you, it'll be welcome news to get him back in the rotation. 2 balls and a strike. Good news in Baltimore. The Orioles have taken the lead over Washington. That's now 9-6 Orioles.
A ballpark like Fenway Park, you're never out of a ball game.
Ryan Zimmerman's hit 3 homers for the Nationals. Chris Davis has hit 2 more for Baltimore.
Boy, he's having a good year, isn't he?
There have been 8 homers hit in that game, Gretchen tells us. Davis now with 19 home runs, and it's not June 1st. The 2-2.
Lasers saying he's up to 50 RBIs now too. Davis.
That's low and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mets are beating the Yankees again tonight. That's an 8-3 score at Yankee Stadium.
They got 5 in the first. They're just wearing the pinstripers out.
Knocked off Mariano Rivera last night. Runner at first goes, and Kawasaki is down on strikes. Welcome back, Jordan Walden. Nothing happening in the 8th inning. Braves up and down 3 late. Zone opener to the homestand. 3-0 Toronto, and you'll see how we've gotten here on our Subway in-game box score.
Andrelton Simmons led off the ball game with a base hit. Freddie Freeman led off the second with a triple off the center field wall and singled in the 4th. That's it for Atlanta. Rogers issued a couple of walks, but those are the only base runners tonight so far for the Braves.
Toronto's retired 11 straight Braves hitters in this game. 6 of them via strikeout. And Jordan Schaefer will pinch hit for Gordon Walden, and here's what he did in Toronto yesterday.
He popped one pretty good off Morrow in the second inning that tied the ball game. Braves led 3-0 after a half inning, trailed 4-3, and then Jordan tied it.
Jordan's on-base percentage over 400 in the last 17 games, with 14 hits in that stretch. And a good cut, but a little late. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Question for you as a former big league hitter. All this power pitching for Toronto tonight. Got to face R.A. Dickey tomorrow.
It will be an adjustment, but it always is with a knuckleballer. You've got to dial it back a little bit.
Schaefer tries to dump a single into left, and he will. Behind in the count. Schaefer fought off that pitch and leads off the Atlanta 8th with the Braves' first hit since the 4th inning.
And again, reaches leading off an inning. This was 97, and he didn't get a lot of it, but he got enough. Ric Flair to left.
So the top of the order coming up. Still a manageable game for the Braves with all the thunder in this lineup. Just haven't seen much of it tonight. Andrelton led off with a single this evening. He's flied out and struck out. 1 for 3 game. One ball, 1 strike.
Braves have been a good late inning ball club. Really put something together here against Wagner.
Bouncing ball back to the mound. And Toronto turns the double play. That ball got back to the hill faster than it got to the plate. And Wagner a nice start to a 1-6-3 double play.
That takes the starch out of you right away, doesn't it?
Yep.
Just like that.
Jason 0 for 2 with a walk. Was low. 3 balls, no strikes. Now Aaron Sebia out to talk it over.
And Jason coaxed a walk out of Rogers back in the 3rd inning in a 2-out, nobody on situation. Jason just 6 for his last 36.
Three balls and a strike. Upton next. .96 at the knees.
Pretty good 3-1 pitch, huh?
man, man. And he pops up Hayward to the left side. As Turris at the third base coaching box puts the squeeze on that. Nothing happening in the Atlanta 8th. We go to the 9th.
Time for Georgia Power Energy tip number 10. Chipper Jones, number 10. With Georgia Power's Home Energy Improvement Program, customers can get up to a $100 rebate for upgrading from a standard thermostat to a programmable thermostat. And in case you didn't know, Chipper Jones had more extra base hits and runs scored than any National League player in interleague history.
So when you are the trivia answer and the Georgia Power Energy tip, you are having a big night.
It's a big night.
Big night for Toronto's pitching staff. It's been Johnny Fullstaff for them tonight, as they have shut down Atlanta so far through 8. But what a nice comeback for the man featured on our Volkswagen pitching performance. That was Corey Garrett in Toronto, and how about the work they've done tonight?
Yeah, they've done a great job after Medlin got hit with that comebacker, that line drive. They've held the Blue Jays in check.
"29 games for Guerin. And he faces Anthony Gose. And that's outside, ball 2.
Corey with that very good inning yesterday. 3 up and 3 down in the heart of their order.
Three balls, no strikes. And a 4-pitch walk. A bad start to the 9th inning. We showed Johnny Vetters sitting on the Braves dugout bench, but Elizabeth, we understand there was another visitor to the clubhouse today?
Yes, Joe mentioned it. Eric O'Flaherty in the clubhouse today for the first time since having Tommy John surgery on May 21st. When he got down to Florida, he had a second MRI taken at a different angle, showed both the ulnar collateral tear and that deteriorating tissue in his flexor. Had he not had the surgery, he told us things could have gotten much worse. He said, guys, he was so excited today to see all of his teammates. Some of them were pretty tired, but all of this has been so tough for him to watch from the couch. But he said he finally feels at peace. And I was telling Joe that Dr. Andrews had 10 surgeries today, the waiting room filled with football, baseball players, basketball players, and that Eric O'Flaherty was his last surgery. So Eric felt good that he got to take as much time as he could. Guys?
Thank you, Elizabeth. Adam Lind is the batter for Toronto here in the 9th, and he takes the strike.
10 surgeries in one day. In your last, you want to make sure he's still got some of that thread left over there.
Oh, yeah.
tie it all together.
And you want to make sure that if you're patient number 10, you're not getting patient number 7's x-rays.
Yeah.
That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Elizabeth mentioned Dr. Andrews. A lot of sadness, too, in the sports medicine profession. Dr. Louis Yoakum passed away. He was the Angels orthopedic surgeon, I believe. And another man that a lot of professional athletes, major league players went to for their elbow reconstruction surgery. As a strike to Lynn.
Yeah, he was one of the pioneers too, along with Dr. Frank Jobe.
What contributions to the game those 3 medical names have made to our sport. Careers they've saved and prolonged. Remarkable people. As you see, Casey Janssen, he's the Toronto closer. Wasn't available yesterday. Appears to be ready to go tonight. Question is, what size lead will he have? Right now it's 3-0. Sharply hit to second. Uggla's got that. Simmons glides across the bag. Ghost tried to get him, but Edwardson was like a ghost. No chance. Beautiful play. 2 out.
Quick feed from Uggla too helped out.
Here's Batista. And that's a little low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Didn't swing at the first one.
Batista 0 for 4 in the game. Looking ahead to the last of the 9th, Justin Upton, Freddie Freeman, Brian McCann, Dan Uggla, and we hope more are due up. Balls and a strike. Let's worry about Encarnacion tomorrow after the Braves win this thing in the bottom of the 9th. Won't happen. A walk to Batista.
What a bad pitch.
Braves have walked 7 Blue Jays tonight.
It came back and it did. Tough walk there for Corey, but it goes in the books as a walk.
2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout for Edwin Encarnacion. Quite a deal Toronto turned with Cincinnati. Reds needed a veteran leader at third base. They got Scott Rowland. Jays got their power hitting infielder of the future in return in Encarnacion. Back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Baltimore helped out the Braves tonight. That's final 9-6. The Orioles beat the Nationals.
Going to come back on Jordan Zimmerman. That's pretty good work.
Lined into left field. A 2-out hit for Encarnacion. A 3-hit game and 6 hits in the series. Batista stops at second. And Aaron Sabia bats. Strike one.
You notice Arencibia holds his hands very similarly to Encarnacion, kind of low, but in front of him. And then as the pitch is about to be delivered, he moves him back.
Bounced off the plate. Simmons will fire to first. And that sends this game to the bottom of the ninth inning. Justin Upton, Freddie Freeman, and Brian McCann will try to get something going. Runners and somebody to pop one or two to come back against Toronto in Game 3 of the series. Here's a look at tonight's Home Depot tools from the dugout.
A couple of double plays turned for the Blue Jays tonight that have helped them out. That one came in the first inning off the bat of Jason Hayward. And then just moments ago, looked like the Braves might have something cooking in the 8th inning, and a sharp grounder back to the mound by Andrelton Simmons. Second double play of the night.
So Atlanta takes aim at Jays closer Casey Janssen. 22 saves last year and perfect in 10 opportunities this year.
Find out right away how that shoulder's feeling.
As good as Atlanta's bullpen has been tonight, Toronto's Johnny Fullstaff has been very impressive. Rogers, Perez, Wagner, now Jansen facing Justin Upton. He fouls that back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jansen, 31 years of age, out of UCLA. He was a 4th round pick by the Jays back in 2004.
Only 1 walk in 15 innings. The last 2 guys that Blue Jays have run out there that just got called up from Buffalo, very impressive tonight. Perez and Wagner.
And the reason Toronto's always careful with Casey Jansen's shoulder is because in 2008 he missed the whole year. He had a torn right labrum. Two balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball popped up into shallow center. Kawasaki goes out, calls off Rasmus. 1 out.
That was his curveball. His fastball is low 90s. He throws a lot of cutters off of it too.
Freddie Freeman's 2 for 3. A triple, a single, and a strikeout. Ball, no strikes for Freddie Freeman. What does Jansen have happy feet as he stands on the rubber?
He does indeed. Very antsy. But his fastball is a little short tonight. It's kind of long arming, kind of windmilling everything, and he's usually 93, 94. He's 89 to 90 tonight.
3 balls and a strike. Now full. Jansen's recorded a save in 16 straight, 32 of the last 34 chances since becoming the closer last May. Freeman drives one a long way toward left, but Ghost gallops over, gets there, and the Braves are down to their final out in the 9th inning.
Might say that was the galloping Ghost. Probably not.
Here's Bryant, 0 for 2 with a walk. Toronto keeps the shift on with a 3-run lead.
How about a bunt? Brian, even with a long ball here, can only make it a 2-run game, but he might get something started by just getting on base. He's hit the ball hard that way twice tonight, but once right at the left fielder and the other one sharply. Kawasaki made a good play on one hop.
Now the Braves down to their last strike. 1-2 the count to Brian McCann. If the Braves fall in a season of tough losses for Chris Medlin, this would go down as maybe the toughest. And it is a loss. Jansen strikes out Brian McCann. It ends the game. 11 Braves strike out in Game 3 of the series. Toronto beats Atlanta 3-0. Tonight's final score, and we'll recap it for you after this.